Remember, I'd been covering this since it all popped off with COVID. We talked about so often the medical community and how it's compromised. It's long been compromised. We've talked about everybody's favorite, Anthony Fauci, and his positions, even on masks, and how once he had said that lack of wearing it was never what he said, he talked about the effectiveness, and there wasn't anything that more so people needed to do. And then he changed and switched on that. He also mentioned that asymptomatic people at one point, as the term, this is right before, he said we're never usually or almost never the drivers of like a pandemic. And then that position all of a sudden changed. We have another video of him talking about what a lot of people have compared this virus to, the flu. And in this video, Fauci says some things that are very, very interesting and seems to be on the complete opposite side. Now, I will say this. Of course, anybody is welcome to change their positions on anything, right? You get more information, you're welcome to change it. It's part of growth. But this seems particularly motivated. There's not anything that they've shown that has shown that, okay, everything that we've known up to this point that had been confirmed, we should now change it. It's more politics than anything. So let's listen to Anthony Fauci and what he had to say regarding the flu, jabs as well that are associated with them. Let's listen to him.
Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu,
let me rewind it real quick.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected.
Whoa! Wait a minute. You're telling me, Fauci, that the best vaccination, or rather the best protection, is catching it? Huh. That's interesting. And she doesn't need it because she's already had this, so she wouldn't need to get a shot. Huh. Interesting.
And she should not get it?
If she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu,
she should not get it again.
No, she doesn't need it, because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
Now look, man, I'm not a biologist. That's interesting. Let's say that. That the most potent vaccination is catching the shit. Huh. That's interesting. 2019 rolls around, going into 2020. Then there's another virus that kind of goes out there, and catching it was like the worst thing, and then it wasn't the worst thing, but then the jabs came, and you basically were the evil person if you decided, or rather you caught it and you didn't get jabbed after it, right? Of course, we've talked about the protections and the levels of protections that have been confirmed in multiple studies. Jabbed and infected versus people that have been double jabbed, not infected, all of that stuff. We've talked about that, and you can go watch those videos if you want to watch those. But in this particular video, he's referring to what is, and though he doesn't say it in this particular clip, natural immunity. This is a term that so many people don't like for some reason. Actually, we know the reason. The reason is that it's not associated with getting a jab, right? Natural immunity means you catch the shit and you heal, right? And now you have your body. God gave you. You have a level of protection that even he says is the most potent of the vaccination. Now, millions upon millions of people before the jab was even available to the public had already caught it. Yet natural immunity was not even considered as part of their plans in terms of their rollouts, right? Because it acted a lot more like a therapeutic. And they didn't flat out say that, but that's what more so ended up happening. It was more of a symptom mitigator. You know what else is that? A flu shot. It's interesting how the science changed with this new virus. And again, I could understand if they were providing the receipts that showed that it operated differently from what they had said. But that's not what happened. Instead, it was just a flip. And people that have been these public policymakers and public science and scientists came out and would say things that were antithetical to what they had said largely their entire careers. See, that in itself is a problem, but it's not the problem. The biggest issue with this is that you dare to point something like this out, people still make it to seem like you're the one that's the enemy for asking questions. You're just supposed to take this man for his word. And then his word contradicts previous words that also came out his mouth. This ain't a double, it's him. You can see it. It's his rat-faced ass. He's younger, obviously, but it's the same rat-faced rat fuck. It's him. Still, because he's been in positions of powers for so long, working with the NIA, whatever bullshit, working as a public figure in public policy and public health. So he says something and then he says another thing, and I say, or people like me say, those seem to conflict with each other. They don't make sense. And now you're somehow anti-science. Because it was never about science. It was always about politics. Period. And unfortunately, folks like himself and others, especially folks in the coast, California, New York, are still trying to keep up with this charade. And there's also people that cannot concede that their government sold them on said charade. They have to be correct. You did everything it is that they told you to do. They're still trying to cover. So-and-so gets the virus, tests positive. Thank God they're vaccinated, or they're vaccinated, because they're not going to die or something. It's like, well, I caught it. My wife caught it. This isn't a hologram, guys. I am still here. Y'all remember I caught it. It didn't even put me out for 3 days. I had it. I was showing symptoms, but I was still doing the fucking show when I had it. So how can you say such a thing when a lot of folks have had my same experience, but natural immunity stopped existing? Funny how that works.
You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Cannon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.